This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Tim Serber.
Welcome back to the Good Neighbors Podcast, everybody. And this is the show where we sit down with business owners, leaders, and storytellers who make Morgan County a great place to live and work. I'm your host, Tim Serber, and today we've got a guest who works in one of the most personal corners of the legal world, family law. And it's right here in our hometown. So I think you're really going to enjoy this. Today, joining me is Nicole McAtee. She is a attorney right here in Martinsville, working on attorney law, handles everything from divorce, custody cases, adoptions, prenuptial agreements. And we're going to go into, she's a pretty big star in the lawyer world. She's a super lawyer rising star, a distinguished fellow of Indianapolis Bar Foundation, and someone that we've even had in our magazine in the past, her and her family. Nicole, welcome to Good Neighbors Podcast.
Thanks, Tim.
We're really excited to have you. Now, I want to start with the Martinsville piece because, you know, you're one of us now. You live here, you practice here, and that's pretty intentional. So when did you know while you were growing up you wanted to be an attorney? Not so much in law, right, in family law, but just you wanted to be an attorney.
I always was interested in it. And then I just knew when I was in college, that was just kind of coming together. I really like to write. I love to, be in the courtroom. It's fun. So it was a good fit.
And where are you originally from?
Originally the Fishers area. And then
Okay.
I lived downtown Indianapolis before I moved to Martinsville.
So you went to IU, right?
Yes.
And is that when you decided Martinsville could be a great place to start your practice?
So I really wasn't familiar with Martinsville until my husband was living in Bloomington. Well, when we were dating, he was living in Bloomington. I was living downtown Indianapolis. So Martinsville was the logical halfway point, and we fell in love with it. We love living here.
What's the things you like about the Martinsville area?
It's the perfect size town. So it just feels like our quaint little hometown, but there's still so much to do. And we love the parades. We love just all the annual traditions that Martinsville has. It's just so fun. Yeah,
and it is a very family focused area, which fits perfectly for what you do. So your firm, McAtee Law, focuses on family law. And of all the areas of law you have chosen, what pulled you specifically towards family law?
I really like being able to help people when they're going through a tough time. So when I first started practicing, I did a little bit of criminal defense. I just thought, the stories were interesting. I got to be in the courtroom all the time. But family law gave me that opportunity to help families. And that's really what I was interested in. And I like being able to help a family transition from whatever they're going through, whether it's a divorce, a relocation, anything, modification. It's just nice to be able to help people going through a tough time.
Yeah, and and it's important to have an attorney that you can trust and work with, right? I mean, that's for sure, especially when you have divorce and you have kids involved. That creates a whole different scenario. And I think it takes a special person to handle that side of the law, especially when you have kids involved in everything. I know it's hard on the parents, but I think you can get really pulled into that being the attorney.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can.
Now, family law, some of it, most of it probably is very emotionally charged, like we were just kind of talking about. How do you balance being a strong advocate in the courtroom with being a compassionate presence for the clients who often are going through the hardest seasons of their life?
Right. Well, I'm always there to listen to my clients, and I mean, they have their stories to tell, but at the same time, it all comes down to what information can we actually use in the courtroom. I really enjoy being in court, but sometimes it is best to just have a sit-down conversation, whether that's through mediation or just doing some informal settlement negotiations, and having to put the emotions aside sometimes and really try to work out a deal and see what is best overall for everybody.
Yeah. Now you're also a trained guardian of litem. Is that correct? Is that pronounce that right?
Guardian ad litem, yes.
Okay, and you volunteer with Kids Voice of Indiana.
Mhm.
And for your listeners, our listeners who aren't familiar with that role, who does or what does Guardian of Ad Litem actually do, and why is that work so important to you?
Sure. So a guardian ad litem, or we call them GALs for short, they are appointed by the court and they are the voice of the child in a family law case. And so that role is really important because the judge is relying on that report from the guardian ad litem to find out how the child feels about certain things without the child ever having to be in the courtroom. So I use GALs for my really complicated cases where the kids are old enough to kind of understand the process, and their input can be really important in the matter.
And when do kids get to really voice in a divorce case or in cases where they're involved in, of who they live with and what they do between parents?
So per the statute, it's when they're 14, it gets more weight.
Okay, all right, interesting. Yeah, I'm always sad when I see that. I can tell you that. I hate to see kids get in the middle of that.
Yeah.
Now, you've been recognized as an up and coming lawyer by the Indiana Lawyer, named a Super Lawyers Rising Star multiple times, and made the Distinguished Fellow of Indianapolis Bar Foundation. What do those kind of recognitions mean to you, and what do you think they reflect about your practice?
Yeah, those are huge honors. It's really exciting to earn recognition like that. I think it reflects the large amount of effort that I've put into practicing law, respecting everybody that's involved in the case, and just building my career over the last 10 years or so. So it's a good feeling to get those.
Now, how long have you been your own attorney firm?
About, I think about 2 years now.
Okay, all
I
right.
think
And no plans to go to the big city, huh?
I'm taking a break from the big city. I like being in Martinsville.
Yeah, I can understand that. One of the most common situations families face is needing to modify an existing custody or child support order after life changes, a job move, remarriage, a child's needs changing. What should someone in our audience know about when and how to pursue a modification?
Sure. So modifying child support is a little more straightforward because we're just dealing with numbers. So someone's job changes, someone has more children. There's different factors that go into how you calculate child support and what's appropriate. And then as far as the custody and parenting time modifications, like you said, if someone is moving, that's a big change. It's just every case is different, of course. But if there's just something that comes up where the current custody and parenting time situation just isn't practical, or if there's reason to say it would be in the kid's best interest if we changed it, then you can ask for a modification. But you always want to check with an attorney to see if you do have grounds to ask for that.
Yeah, and that just I just can't imagine what it's dealing like with that situation. How you deal with parents very emotionally charged, kids very emotionally concerned and worried and think they caused it when they're younger. And I know that's that's got to be tough on you. Do those GLAs help during that time like that?
They can be very helpful in those cases, yes, especially if someone's asking for kind of a big change. Like if we have a relocation, if someone's moving out of state, anything like that, then you really do want to have a guardian ad litem involved so that the kids' voices are heard on those issues.
Nice. So prenuptial, postnuptial, and cohabitation agreements still carry a big bit of a stigma. A lot of people feel like asking for ones is unromantic or pessimistic. What's your perspective, and who actually benefits, from putting one of these agreements in place?
Yeah, there definitely can still be a stigma around those types of agreements, especially a prenuptial. But I always tell my clients it's like having a car insurance policy. I mean, I don't want to use my car insurance policy, but it's good to have. Um, I mean, no one goes into their wedding thinking that their marriage will ever end, but unfortunately, sometimes it does. And it's just nice to have everything spelled out, and there's no question on, whose assets are what and how is everything going to get divided up in the end. It makes things very clear. I think clarity is the point of those agreements.
Yeah. All lined up in order.
Mhm.
Now, you've been involved in the community. You've served on the American Cancer Society, the Indianapolis Bar Foundation, the Young Professionals of Central Indiana, and you've written for the Indiana Lawyer. Why has community involvement in giving back been such a consistent thread in your career?
I think it's important to give back to the community, to stay involved, and serving on those boards was a great way to do that. And I also got to meet a lot of really amazing people. So yeah, it's been important for sure.
And one last question, and this is for persons listening right now who really need to talk to someone about issues maybe within their family, needs the family law attorney. I didn't realize we had one here in the area until I met you. But been putting off the call because it's kind of an embarrassment, right? It is something that is emotionally charged. What would you say to them, and what's the best way for them to reach you at McAtee Law?
Yeah, it can be daunting. And I think at least getting the information that you need to make an informed decision in whatever legal situation you may be facing, that's a step in the right direction. And I mean, of course, the consultation calls are confidential. So, and if someone did want to reach out to me, I can be reached at www.martinsvillefamilylaw.com, and I have a contact form there.
Awesome. All right. Well, Nicole, I tell you, thank you for the work you do for our families in our community and for sharing it with us today. Family law is hard work, and it's clear why folks in Morgan County trust you. I know my wife and I really enjoyed meeting you and your family. Loved having you guys on our cover. And so I just wish you the best of luck on everything that you do. That's going to wrap up this episode, everyone. And please visit our website, Good Neighbors Podcast of Morgan County, and take a look at some of the other episodes we do. And until next time, let's get back together. We'll just have a good time until my next one, which should be here in about a half hour. So, Nicole, thanks again for everything. Enjoyed having you.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpmorgancounty.com. That's gnpmorgancounty.com or call 317-743-2058.